Hello and welcome to Network Talk, DACHSER's global logistics-based podcast exploring all the important facets that accompany DACHSER on its journey into the future. I'm your host, Charlotte Goldstone. And in this episode, we're heading to Waddinxveen, which is just outside Rotterdam, to explore a logistics centre that is unlike any other in the DACHSER network. This is where all business lines, European logistics, food logistics, air and sea logistics, and contract logistics come together under one roof. And joining us to talk all about it is Art van der Meer, DACHSER's long-standing manager for the Benelux region. Now, Art has been at the helm of DACHSER's journey in the region from the early days of DACHSER Netherlands to the acquisition of Muller Fresh Food Logistics to the recent opening of the company's brand new food logistics warehouse in Waddinxveen. And I am going to be asking Art all about what makes Rotterdam such a strategic location for the logistics provider, how DACHSER integrated Muller into its network, and where the company is heading in its next mission. So, if you are as excited as me to get into this discussion, then let's just jump straight into episode 3. Art, hello and welcome to Network Talk. It's great to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you?
Yeah, thank you very much, Charlotte. I'm doing fine. Weather could be better in Holland, but for the rest, everything is good.
It's exactly the same in London. It's pouring with rain. But before we dive into logistics and strategy, I want to get to know the person behind this. Art, can you please introduce yourself? Tell us a bit about your background and what brought you into logistics.
Well, thank you very much. Basically, I'm almost born into logistics. My father and my uncle, they run a transport company in Rotterdam. So that means that after I was born and I was only 2 or 3 years old, then I started already to be interested in trucks and trailers and all the things that come with logistics. When I was 3 years old, I don't remember, but my father said that it was the first time that I really wanted to go into his truck and to join him on one of his trips. The company was growing and I was growing as well. So when I was studying, I got my driver's license, and I already also tried or also did some working on trucks and on my spare time and holidays just to get some money. So you can say that I'm really grown up into transport and logistics, and I knew exactly already from the start that this is what I wanted to do with my future. So this is basically why the path to join a logistics company was really already set when I was 4 or 5 years old, something like that.
That's so nice. A lot of people that I've spoken to in the industry seem to have got into it through familial ties. So that's really interesting. You joined DACHSER back in 2006. So what first attracted you to the company, and what has been perhaps your biggest milestone since becoming managing director for the Benelux region?
No, actually, it was because I worked for that company for 23 years in Holland and in France. They got bought by somebody else, and we did not like it. Actually, we're after 23 years, we are quite a loyal team, and we were really looking for something else. So we had a few options. One of them was DACHSER, and to be honest, I really want to be honest about that. DACHSER at that time was not really a competitor in the Netherlands. It was very small. They had one small branch in Zevenaar near Arnhem, near the German border, and that was it. But we never encountered them as a competitor. But they had an interesting story, and we said, okay, if we could go to that company, I want to know more about it. So I went to Kempten to meet Michael Schilling to have a discussion about the future and the possibilities and things like that. So when I came back and I said to my team, because I was not the only one that was, let's say, not satisfied with the new company, I said, well, this could be a new future for our team, and our team consists of 25 people. So this was really the good feeling that I got in Kempten from Michael Schilling at that moment that made me really to choose for me, but also for my team, to join the DACHSER world.
Coming up to 20 years since you've been there, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
But I want to move on from your story to the story of Waddinxveen, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Please do correct me if I'm wrong. That is a location that has been something of a showcase for DACHSER. Waddinxveen has been described as a unique site within DACHSER's global network. So perhaps you can explain what makes it so special.
Yeah, actually, Waddinxveen, and you pronounce it quite right, to be honest, especially for foreign English. Now, Waddinxveen is of course not the place that is well known into the rest of the world, but actually it's very close to Rotterdam. So basically we changed also the name of Waddinxveen into Logistics Center Rotterdam because it's got more of an international meaning, of course. Rotterdam is well known in other continents, and because Waddinxveen in China or the US will not ring a bell, but of course Rotterdam will do. The place Waddinxveen was chosen because actually we were working there for 23 years already in our former company, and the choice was made because it's just outside of Rotterdam, outside of the harbor area, because there's a lot of congestion in Rotterdam itself, and it's ideally located between the largest cities. So for distribution in the western part of the Netherlands, it's perfect. It's between Utrecht, Den Haag, Rotterdam, and very close to Amsterdam as well. So basically, from a geographic point of view, it's really the best location to be into in the western part of Holland. And actually, DACHSER was looking for second branch already. And they had the big machines running where the point of gravity should be for a second location, and that was actually in the Gouda Waddinxveen area. So basically, we knew this area, we were coming from this area, so yeah, overall it was a perfect fit. We had the knowledge; they already found out that this was the place to be, and we had the team to start our branch in Waddinxveen.
And I believe this is the first location outside of Germany where all of DACHSER's business lines come together. There's European logistics, food logistics, air and sea logistics, and contract logistics. So we'll get into the benefits and the reasoning behind this a bit later on. But firstly, could you explain what this actually looks like on site? I'm imagining like a big hall with a plane, a boat, and a fridge freezer in it, but I'm sure that's not the case. So what does this look like?
Well, we've got some planes and the boats and everything, but on very small scale. They're about 10 centimeters long, just to show that what we are doing. But actually, we started here in Waddinxveen with only doing the cross dock. Yeah, so we rented a small facility, 4,000 square meters, to do the distribution basically in the western part of the Netherlands. But once we got to know a little bit the capabilities of DACHSER, of the system that DACHSER had, this was a dream for us. And after 23 years in the industry, and for me even a bit longer with my father's company, well, this was really amazing that a company could offer that to their customers, because everybody's talking about it, but nobody can really offer it. So we were sitting together, and also sat together with Michael Schilling and his team. We said, well, this is going to be booming really in the Netherlands, because this is what we can offer. I can tell you this is going to be really big. And I think we have to talk not only about distribution and transport, but also about contract logistics, because that makes absolute sense. We've got the biggest harbor in Europe, Rotterdam, very close to the facility. We can offer our customers contract logistics, warehousing, picking, packing, whatever you want to name. We got a very, very good climate in regards to tax and everything, fiscal representation. Also, the customs environment in the Netherlands is quite good. So this could be booming. So we got the agreement to go into that market as well. That means we're not only doing the distribution for our customers, but also warehousing. And it went from the beginning that we opened it up, it went really like a rocket. It went so crazy fast. And our best customers are actually the customers that we have in our location. So then after that, we said, well, if this is the case, and we have very close by the biggest airport in Holland or in the Benelux, Schiphol, and the biggest harbor in Rotterdam, let's see if we can also put the air and sea freight together with the road freight. And actually, it was the first time this happened in DACHSER. It was not really easy because it's normally it's very fragmented. You got all the business units. Okay, we are having the same name on our business card, but we are not really, let's say, used to have one management to manage everything. So we have a very good team, and when I got also the air and sea freight to manage, we brought a lot of things together. So we got a lot of shared services, and literally really under one management. Later on even under one roof as well in Waddinxveen, especially with the sea freight and the road freight and the contract logistics. And the missing link was, of course, the food logistics, since DACHSER bought the company Müller Fresh Food Logistics in 2023. They had to get used a little bit to our way of working, and they were already working as an agent for us. So it was a very small step to get into our, let's say, organization in the Benelux. So they joined us, and they are really, really very close with the management team, working together. So we're sharing a lot of things, sharing a lot of knowledge of DACHSER, but also a lot of knowledge that they bring in, because this wasn't part of the chain that we were not really doing in the Netherlands or in Belgium. And their knowledge, a specific knowledge on the food market, was really welcome to open up the branch in Waddinxveen as well for food. So since a couple of weeks, we are really live also in Waddinxveen, and also can offer to our customers, together with the people from Muller, a food cross-dock unit in Waddinxveen. That means that we really have in the Waddinxveen facility everything under one roof. It's meanwhile, it's a little bit more than the 4,000 square meters where we started with. It's a multiple of that, of course, at the moment, but it's really very close to each other. That means that we are really working very close together as well.
And so day to day, what does this look like? I mean, is everyone working in their own individual departments, or does everyone move across from A to C? Are they all talking to each other?
Of course, everybody got their own specific way of working, because they're all specialists in their own business field, but they are literally sitting together. So we have got customer service from road freight, also joining customer service from air and sea freight and the food facility. We got the national planning being combined together. So that means containers that are being loaded into the harbor in Rotterdam, we combine them as well with our national department during the day. So that means during the day, a lot of trucks, they are driving for our distribution area in the road freight. And during the night, we switch the drivers, and the same trucks will pick up some containers in the harbor area. That means that in the night, there's not so much congestion, not so much traffic jams. So it saves a lot of time. So it can be much more efficient. And we're really working together. And it's really, you should see it. It's really fun to see as well that in the beginning, everybody is taking care of their own business field. But now they are really also looking at the other ones, where they can support and where we can be better as one company. And we always say one team, one company, one name. But okay, we really live it like that as well in Waddinxveen.
I understand why it might benefit DACHSER to have all of these processes in one place. It sounds very efficient, but how does this integrated setup then benefit your customers?
Yeah, I think it's very easy, because it's if you go back to the time that we were only having the road freight, so we were having a lot of salespeople driving on the streets and visiting our customers from day to day. The same customers, they also have sea and air freight, but we never touched it because we were focused on road freight. And that's why I was really promoting a little bit the what we call now interlocking in our company, but to work together more as two business fields, or three business fields, basically: sea freight, air freight, and road freight. Because our sales team, if we train them right, they can sell everything. So they can sell road freight, they can sell when they are visiting the same customer, sea freight and air freight. But you need to train them. They need to get out of their, let's say, comfort zone, because everybody is working in a certain environment, which is their comfort zone. So take them out, train them, and tell them that we can really go selling DACHSER as one. And we can really offer the customers everything that they need. For food, it's a little bit different, because the customers that we normally visit for the normal European logistics business, they are the non-food customers, of course, and food is quite specific. But what we see now is that we have a lot of customers we visit, and they also have sea freight and air freight, especially in the frozen business. So this is a huge opportunity that we and our salespeople have to visit their food customers, and now being able to offer as well sea freight and air freight for them, which they certainly have. So you see the shift from, let's say, road freight, air freight, sea freight, now to food, sea freight, air freight. So all the business units are really working really good together again.
Well, you mentioned food logistics there, and that is a big part of this story, because I believe that is the newly renovated area of this site in Waddinxveen.
Yeah.
And especially after the acquisition of Muller Food Logistics. So how important was this site in bringing Muller to the DACHSER network?
Now, when we acquired Muller, of course, we had to get used to each other and a little bit looking what they were doing, what we were doing, and they were new in the DACHSER world. We were new in the food world. And what we figured out, that they have basically one cross-dock area, and that was the Holten facility, which is in the eastern part of the Netherlands. It's a little bit like Zevenaar on the normal road freight, and Holten, which is also in the eastern part of the Netherlands. That means that the distances to travel or to drive and to distribute in the western part of the Netherlands, they are quite big. So from a point of efficiency, we were quite sure that we needed, and we said together with the people of Muller, we needed a second branch in the western part of the Netherlands. Muller had some branches, but they were only contract logistics branches, warehouses, so they were not really suitable for distribution. And we had the luck that in Waddinxveen, one of our neighbors went or left a building that was really exactly complete what we wanted. It was part of it was for ambient food, another part of it was for chilled food, and they had a part of frozen food. So what we did, we tried if we could rent them. We went to the landlord and we made a deal in the end. We completely renovated the building to have the, let's say, the newest standards available for our business, to do our business. And it looks like a brand new building. It's not, it's 30 years old, but it's really, really state of the art. So everything is really running fine. And we started a couple of weeks ago, and it was a bit of luck, but if your neighbor is leaving, you got the chance only once in your life to take it over. And I'm lucky that it was the right time as well. It was a little bit like it was meant to be.
Absolutely. I mean, we spoke about this in episode 2, which was the last episode with Dr. Fabian Günther. He set the scene quite well for my next question on mergers and acquisitions.
Mm-hmm.
So you were obviously a big part in bringing Muller into the DACHSER network. What did you see as the biggest challenges and successes in that integration?
I think the biggest challenges, I mean, Muller was already working as an agent for DACHSER Food. So they were really already knowing the family, knowing our mentality, way of working. But the biggest challenge is to get a smaller family-owned company into a multinational like DACHSER is. Of course, we are also a family company, but family is a little bit bigger than the family of Muller. That means that you have to get used to the regulations, to the rules, to the way of working, that you cannot just decide, okay, we do this, we do that, like in the past. And when Mr. Muller was still heading his company, he could really decide as being the only one. Now he left the company, and now his people have to get integrated in our team. And it means that we need, we have to make business plan, we need to adapt the rules, we have to work according to the standards of DACHSER, so the internal standards, so they're really becoming a part of the network. And that was quite a challenge for them. And on top of that, now we are slowly changing also the systems. So from their, let's say, transport management systems, in the end, they have to work in our transport system management, warehouse management system as well. So this is something that is really a challenge for them, because they've been working with their systems for 100 years maybe, and they have to work in another way. So we're preparing that. It's a long way, because and there's not always the capacity available to do it right away. In Waddinxveen, we are working according to the DACHSER rules, network systems, and also the transport management system. In Holte, we are going to do that in 1 or 2 years. So we are preparing them already for the future, and we have Waddinxveen as a blueprint for them, so they can really see how we are working, what the advantages of the systems are. And of course, we can train the people from Holten in our Waddinxveen facility. And I think the biggest challenge is just to get them integrated in a new family. To be honest, I don't see that much problems. That they have the same attitude, they have the same way of working. They really, really are good working people. They have a good knowledge of the food market. So we don't need to doubt about that. They have to change a little bit, because they were already really focused on the national market. And now, they can also sell Europe, of course, because we have the network for them. And this is something we have to focus on the future to get more international business with them as well.
Yeah, that people element is so important, but it sounds like DACHSER has got that under control. I want to go from the people to the technical side of it. The new site offers 3 temperature zones and over 17,000 pallet spaces. So absolutely huge. What does that enable you to do differently? And is this strengthening your position within the European food logistics market?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the new facility is, of course, very integrated in the European network already. So from the Waddinxveen area, we already have all the direct lines. We have 70, 80 direct lines that go every day all over Europe. That means our swap bodies are running really completely 24/7 all over Europe. So that means that with this facility, we can offer everything that is available on the market regarding food. So we can offer ambient food, we can offer chilled food in their various temperature zones, and we can offer frozen. So that means if we have customers that are having their goods and they want to store their goods in our facility, for us it's very easy to cross-dock and to get also the goods out of our facility when they have the contact logistics with us, to fill one or two swap bodies and to combine them with our, let's say, non-food goods and transport them all over Germany, France, in whatever country, in order to be delivered locally to our customers. So we can offer really a very complete network for them in food, which is not really existing at the moment in Europe, and with very short lead times, and of course very efficient.
You mentioned before about why Rotterdam was chosen as the location to do this and to distribute all over Europe.
Mhm.
Was this an easy decision to make? I mean, were there any other sites in Europe that you were looking at that you think could offer these benefits?
Well, I think there are more, let's say, opportunities in Europe, of course, but we do not have the setup yet. But I can think about Le Havre in France, maybe in Barcelona, Valencia in Spain, and of course Hamburg in Germany. But to create a setup like that, it needs some time, and you need to have the right people on board as well to manage it as well. But Rotterdam is, of course, the biggest harbor, like I said. So every big ship is coming to Rotterdam. And if you look at the opportunities that you get to have a branch that close by, it's enormous. And we just started, and also now with food, and we never touched the overseas business for food. And now we have an opportunity to do it because we are very close to the harbor. So we can even think about having our reefers, our frozen business, being shipped to other areas of the world. And then also the inbound flow. There's a lot of goods coming from Asia to be distributed in Europe, which we never touched as DACHSER. And think about the meat market, for instance, in South America. It's huge. It's huge that we have the possibilities now. So in all the meetings that we have with our colleagues overseas, this is one of the top priorities that we touch with them.
You've given us such a good overview of what is happening in Waddinxveen at the moment. Can you tell us how you see the future of this site? And also, do you have any specific plans for the rest of the Benelux region? Could you give us an indication of where you might be headed next?
Waddinxveen is, of course, something that we are now, we just started with the food facility. So basically, this is really going quite well. So within a couple of months, I think we are really integrated fully and get used to the new ways of working. And future for Waddinxveen, I think in Waddinxveen we are quite okay at the moment. So we have our facility, our sea freight facility, food facility, and our normal business that we are doing, the normal road freight. So we have to focus on other areas in the Benelux. So we are really thinking about for the future already to set up maybe one or two more branches. So one up in the north together with our colleagues of Rhino. We have to see whether we can do something over there, and something in the south and just in between the Netherlands and Belgium, more or less in that region of the borders, to see if we can have a small facility as well over there. But that's for the coming, let's say, 2 or 3 years that we have to open something up, because I think if we keep on growing like this, our current facilities will become too small, and we need to enlarge, our footprint in the Benelux. And we started already in Belgium with a very small team doing food. But I'm 100% sure that we will have to make a move to the Belgium market as well, also regarding food, because they are also in the Antwerp area. We have a facility in Willebroek. So I could imagine that we could do more or less the same that we are doing in Waddinxveen also in that area, because the harbor of Antwerp is, of course, the second biggest harbor in Europe. So it makes absolute sense to do something there as well.
Be transporting all the Belgian waffles around. That sounds like a nice.
Yeah, chocolate, waffles, whatever. Food in Belgium is, of course, going hand in hand. I mean,
Absolutely.
Belgium a little bit, and the food is fantastic.
Well, it sounds like you've got a busy few years ahead of you. But I want to ask you a few light-hearted, quick-fire questions to end the episode. So could you describe Waddinxveen in one word or one sentence if one word is too difficult?
One word is absolutely difficult, I think, but Waddinxveen is the unknown hero, I think, because Waddinxveen is really the place to be. And we say it's the golden egg in the golden triangle. And this is really what we thought already 40 years ago. Everybody said, you are crazy going to the Waddinxveen area because it's outside of Rotterdam. But now it's really the place to be. It's really the golden place to be.
And Waddinxveen brings everything together under one roof. Is there anything in your everyday life that you wish you could combine under one roof?
In my everyday life, I don't think, well, from a business point of view, everything is combined under one roof already. And I live basically already very close to Waddinxveen, so I can literally walk to the office if I want. So for me, it's not only my working life under one roof, but also my private life is almost under one roof. So I would like to keep it that way.
That sounds quite convenient. You have seen logistics evolve over decades. So what is one innovation that you wish existed when you started out?
I think if you see the evolution of logistics, and I see now the evolution what we are doing, for instance, in DACHSER with at ILO, the new system with the cameras in the warehouse, which we are at the moment installing in our premises in Zevenhuizen. This is going to be a game changer for the market for sure. Now lately we have more and more AI coming up. We got a lot of robots coming up. Autonomous driving is coming up. So I see a lot of changes coming up for the future. And we need to do that because at the moment the labor market is really, really still very tight. And I don't see a big change in the coming years. So we need to find solutions for the work that we are doing in order to be able to operate, let's say, especially with the growth that we are foreseeing. So if we don't automate more, digitalize more than we are doing now, then we're going to face a problem in 4 to 5 years. So we are working very hard. DACHSER is really working hard on this topic. We're doing some great things, but we think we need to speed it up because otherwise we will block ourselves in a certain moment. There's a generation that is now 60 years old. They will leave the market in 4 or 5 years maximum. And to be honest, there's not really a generation ready to follow up at the moment. So there's going to be a big challenge.
Yeah, we spoke about those specific things that you mentioned, like the ILO systems in episode 1 with Lars Raylitz. So thank you for looping back to that. It's very useful. Everyone go and listen to episode 1 if you haven't already. But Art, thank you very much for joining us. It's been really interesting to hear about Waddinxveen and the wonderful things you're doing there.
Thank you very much for giving me the chance to talk about our baby. And let's hope in a couple of years we could do another episode and then have another amazing story in the Benelux.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of Network Talk. A huge thank you to Art van der Meer for joining me and for sharing such a fascinating look inside DACHSER's Waddinxveen, or should I say the golden egg of the Benelux region. I really enjoyed hearing how this site is bringing every business line together under one roof. And it really sounds like redefining what an integrated logistics hub can actually look like, which, as I've learned, is not a big room with a ship, a plane, and a fridge freezer inside. Obviously, there's the strategic advantages of Rotterdam's location to the seamless integration of Muller food logistics and the expansion of the temperature-controlled facilities to fit this. It's clear that DACHSER is really setting the standard for the future of logistics in Europe, and I'm excited to see them expand this kind of integrated hub to other areas in Europe. So if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to follow Network Talk wherever you get your podcasts, and don't miss our earlier episode where we explored DACHSER's approach to strategy and digitalization. I'm Charlotte Goldstone. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time as we continue exploring the people and ideas driving DACHSER's journey into the future.